I've spent much of my life oversharing. I share too much of my life path, what I experience, what I'm going through, my ups, my downs. But I do it to show people the growth. If you don't show people really where you come from, when you go through something, it's not going to be as relatable when you maybe have a breakthrough. They might not understand, and they might even question sort of like the experience you have. So I think it's always important to show the journey, but I also think about like transparency is key anyway. I think being authentic. It's too many people they just act like their life's perfect. And in some instances, maybe at certain stage of our life, it is. But you get an awful lot of people that criticize others, and if you actually had a window into their life, you'd say it ain't too great anyway. And that's the reality, isn't it? So there'll be people that are ready to criticize, to have an opinion on something, but they don't even. But they're just like glossing over the situations what they're going through. So it's easy to project and go, oh well, you need to do better than this, do better. But yeah, but how are you getting on? What are you actually achieving? And it's like, so I don't really care about projections onto me because I recognize everybody's going through something. And I think just some people just pretend they're not when they are. Simple as that. So if anything, it just makes us more human. So you can see, I'm not where I want to be. You can see the growth. You can see my ambition. If you are, like I say it an awful lot, if you ask me, am I going to get to the top of my mountain in this lifetime? Hell yeah, I'm going to get to the top of the mountain in this lifetime. That's not even me flinching. Doesn't mean the journey to get there is easy. But of course, when anyone ever reaches the top of their profession and they achieve something quite remarkable, it just gets a lot of envy and jealousy, and people just think, oh, why them? It's always easy. That's not the case at all. I always say that. Even like actors and stuff. Think of the amount of auditions they've had to go through, even sort of maybe the drama school, all the processes, all the rejections. See, I can appreciate the journey it's got to get where they're going. And then also, if you look at actors in general, they have to give up an awful lot of their personal life, not just because they're in the spotlight and people want their attention, but because they have to go to sets. Let's say they're on set for 5 months. I don't know how long the sets are. Let's say it's 6 months. Let's say it's a year. Maybe they're filming like a trilogy or one back to back, and they're gone for 2 or 3 years. That's the life of someone in the spotlight. Even like sports stars. They always have to travel and go places. And I say that a lot about like people like Taylor Swift, for instance. You can sit and say, oh, the money she's got, but look at the situation she went through. She went through a crisis in her life at one point where she just went missing for a bit, where she just healing from like a situation when she was targeted on stage by another celebrity. It was a whole situation with that, and she was like the butt of jokes. But she's not a joke anymore, is she? And then when I look at them, it's like you look and think, okay, yeah, okay, they got money. It's like envy is not a very good trait to have. Do they work hard for that money? Hell yeah, they work hard for that money. It's easy to sit on your sofa. I'm not trying to attack people, but it's easy to sit being lazy, judging someone else who's literally traveling the world. And if you like, I can appreciate. I don't know her personally, but I can appreciate her journey because I look on and think, God damn, she's very very ambitious. She's very driven to achieve. Because like even on stage, for instance, I haven't watched all her shows or in depth, but you just see her like she's out of breath. She's putting on the best performance she can. She's literally, I've seen it before where she's literally travelled. I don't know if she went to the Super Bowl for Travis Kelce's match. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure she did. I think if I remember rightly, I think she was in Tokyo. She was in Japan, if I've got it right. And she had to fly. She flew straight after the show or something to back into America for the Super Bowl or something like this. It was like she was, and it's like for me that's incredible. Like you're absolutely exhausted, and yet you're just constantly on the go. So it's easy for someone who has home comforts, who always has time to themselves, to then look at someone who's always given themselves to the cause, really. Of course, people do it for their own reasons, but I understand the process it takes to get there, and it's not easy at all. So I think people should just have a little bit more of a look at people's life, how they're achieving it, and think, that's quite remarkable. Completely deviated from what I was going to talk about, but I go on tangents, and that was one of my tangents. It's like I genuinely appreciate the journey people get to where they do when they get to top of mountain, because I think rarely, if ever, do people genuinely get it gifted to them. And even in the very rare instance where someone handed it to them, you still have to put in the effort to have sustained growth and accomplishments. Because even if someone gives you something, you still have to work hard to maintain it. So again, maybe pointless to what I'm going to talk about, but I just went on a huge tangent. So I've shared a lot about my health, like my back problem that I've had for a very long time, since my 20s. I think I've had it for over like 20 years. It's just progressively got worse. Anyone that's done physical work in warehousing, manual labor, whatever, they'll attest to that. It just gets unbearable. So you're naturally stronger when you're younger. You can have like setbacks and you'll heal quicker and all those things. But of course, if you put prolonged pressure on an area of your body, neglecting really the better practices, it's inevitably going to cause you concern. And that's literally what happened to me. And of course, your body doesn't recover as fast as maybe it did in the past. And again, so it all compounds, you know. So you've got a history of maybe abusing your body in that sense, and your body as it is struggling to heal at the rate that it needs to. So it's just compounding the misery, you know. So there's a chance, obviously, that with any back issue, it could be arthritis, it could be really really serious conditions with the discs and the spine in general. Like, what condition is it, or is it just muscular and all these? So there's so many nuances to the structure of any of the anatomy of our body. And I've always said that, like, if it's muscle related and it's just a pain threshold, I can push through pain. But what I don't want to do is push through pain and cause serious injury to myself, and it makes long term damage. Because for me personally, like, I know some people, they'd love to live on benefits their whole life. They would love to just have free handouts, and for them, that's an achievement. To me, that's not an achievement. Our health is the biggest victory. So I don't see the point of that. I don't see the point of suffering like with our health for finances, for money at all. I wouldn't do that at all. I'd much rather be healthy, have my body intact, if you like. Now, some people don't have the option, but I think if you're leaning one way or another, we want to be healthy, yeah. So I had physio today. It was only like an assessment, but I felt they were thorough enough. So sometimes you might go somewhere and think, well, I don't trust them. I trusted her, like her. She did really well. I've had physio before, where I had, like, back in 2023. I had about 5 sessions. I was supposed to continue, but I went back to the job that it was being suggested I wouldn't go back to. Like, I wouldn't if I was you. But it was a good paying job. So I went back and caused more problems to the back. And then I started hurting my wrist because I was trying to take pressure off my back. So I'm putting pressure on my hands. I'm trying to so effectively, instead of the back taking away, you're starting to put more pressure on the front of your body where you're doing the wrist. So I'm having to have wrist supports. In the end, it was like, I'm just falling apart here. This is not good for me at all. And yeah, my back hurts now as I talk. It's literally pain here. So it doesn't matter if it's a serious condition or something that can be healed. It doesn't, in a sense, that it doesn't change the fact that you're feeling pain. So, and I said that as soon as I sit down. I'm very open with everybody I talk to. I had a different assessment recently, and I'm very transparent. Straight away, I'm like, this is the issue. Now, if it's not, I'm hoping it's not something long term, because I'd rather have my health. But so we're going through things and they're checking it all. And they said, right, it was quite apparent even when they're pushing down on my back, every area. It's more the middle than the bottom, because I put on the form bottom middle. I don't know where, like, if you was to say it, I don't know if you'd class that, but I don't know where you're considering the anatomy here. So we're doing pressure points, and it was literally the middle region of my back. And it was weird. And I had this before when I had the physio a year and a half ago. It was one side rather than both. So that was kind of like, it does point towards muscle, but we can't be sure with that. So anyway, like, from my point of view, I don't know unless someone confirms something. So yeah, it was the left hand side. So if she pushes the right hand side of my back, for instance, at the back, it doesn't. I don't really get it, unless apart from the added pressure you're doing, you're going to feel something. Apart from that, it's not really causing me trouble. But as soon as they were doing the left side and the center of the back, it was like hurting like shit, which made sense to them, which was good because that's what we want. And then we'd test the calves, the hamstring, that all hurt. But again, only for some reason, it only hurt that side of the body. And she did say that's all linked. And we tend to have dominant sides. So sides maybe we use more often, or something. So you overcompensate, So anyway, you got a strong side, and that's usually the one that doesn't get too hurt. It'd be the other side that maybe does. I think, if I got it the right way around. But anyway, from their opinion, it's far more muscle related by the way the issue was. But she said it's incredibly tight, and like the muscles are like locked and things. It's really really tense. So she's given me exercises to get on with, which I'm like, that's great then, because if you're just saying it's muscle and I can push, because I said the thing with me is I have strong pain threshold. Like, if it's going to help me, I can put up with pain. I know some people, as soon as they feel something, I can't push it, it hurts. It's like, no. If it's going to help you long term and it's going to heal a situation, I can cry, for instance. I've had operations on my teeth, had root canal. You even get a tear going down your eyes, even though you're not crying. The pain hurts that much, it brings a tear. And they always say, put your hand up if it hurts. I never ever put my hand up. I will have a tear going out my eye, and I'll make sure it finishes, because I don't see the point of dragging something out. So if it's going to hurt me to achieve something, then it's going to have to hurt me to achieve something. So, like I say, I've been given about five different exercises to do. just to try to release the tension on the back. And then, of course, the point is to then re-strengthen the muscles in the back. So, like I say, it's not saying there's no problem, and I understand that because some people get defensive. All I'm thinking is long term, if I do the right things, my back will ease the pain, and I'll just get to be living normally, which is what I want. I don't see myself doing manual lifting my whole life. I want my breakthrough in career. And if I have a breakthrough in career, I don't want to be doing things and like just hurting randomly with my back, and I can't do everyday tasks. I want to get to the point where I can do those things. So anyway, that's the sort of result from that. So I've got tasks to do to strengthen the core, the back, alleviate the muscle tension, and all those things. Of course, there's other conditions and things. I have Raynaud's, which is a blood circulation issue, but it can have its complications. But as long as you know what they are, I think, because that's what I said to them. They were asking about tingling in your feet and things, and I said, well, to be honest, I put it down to the Raynaud's because I get really cold feet. My feet are freezing all the time. In the winter, for instance, in colder months, my joints really hurt, so my knees will hurt like crazy, and my hands, my knuckles on my hands will just slow a little bit more, and they'll hurt. So I said, so like, I can't say if it's that or that, but I always say this about people when you get in like health checkups and things, because people have a habit of lying. I see family members all the time. They'll say, "Oh, I don't do this, or I don't do that, or this and that." And it's like, I don't understand that. You're trying to get it diagnosed, so I think give them as much information as you can. Because it's not. What's the point of trying to circumvent something to try to get a different outcome? I want the truth because then we can manage it. So I'll give them every piece of information, and then it's like hopefully they're calculating it correctly, and we get the outcome done. They did suggest getting the bloods done again, but I'm due a health checkup anyway. Like earlier in the year, I got a message from the doctors to say you're due because of my age now, because I'm in 40s, I'm 42. You're now due a health check just to make sure everything's fine. And I had my bloods done last year, and there was a couple of borderlines. The rest was normal. But the lady today, she went through some of them. And one of the borderlines, she said that should have been normal because that's not even beyond the thing. And she said the ones that are on borderline, they're literally just one notch over. It's literally just like if you had a line, yours is just on the line or just gone slightly over that little line. She said it's nothing serious. And that was a year ago. So of course we want to make sure that there's nothing's moved over further the line. So yeah, I've got to get appointments. So I say I'm transparent. I don't sit there and exaggerate anything. But if it hurts, it hurts. It hurts. Which you're going to do because you've got nerves in your back and all sorts of shit, and it's that tight and tense. It hurts throughout. But like I said, I would rather have my health. I'd rather be back to normal. And I think the fact that I can return back to normal if I do the right things. Because I was talking to her as well about returning back to manual jobs, for instance. I said it's really annoying because it's like last thing you want as well is if I can recover, is to put myself back in a situation where I'm back in this room again and we're going around in circles because that's what happens. And obviously, their recommendation is to try to, maybe find things that aren't so strenuous to that extent. And it's easier said than done because if you're looking in that career avenue, for instance, just to pay your bills, get jobs, it's like predominantly there's lifting involved. And a lot of time there's heavy lifting involved. And it's like sometimes they don't even disclose it until you're there. And it's like, you just got to hope things work out, But I'm always a long-term thinker, not short-term. So someone else, like I said, might want the financial benefits that come from having health issues. I would much rather struggle financially through a period of my life and have my health intact for the future. And I think it's just intelligent because you lose your quality of life as your health diminishes. You can't do the things you wanted to do, and it's like your options get reduced. I want to travel. I want to explore. I want to go on holidays. I want to see more of the world. I want to jump at opportunities if they come, if it aligns with me. I want to be able to grab those opportunities because I'm ambitious. I want to get to the top of my mountain. Not an actual mountain. I don't like heights. But I want to get to the top of however I'm supposed to achieve. And I think if your body starts failing you, you might struggle to get to those levels. Like, for instance, you might want to travel the world. All of a sudden, you can't travel so much because you've got health conditions. And then if you did travel, maybe you can't have the adventures you want to go. You might want to go on day excursions. I like to go on coach trips and all sorts, see more of the areas and stuff. I like all that. Maybe you can't, So anyway, I know, like I said at the beginning, I overshare the shit out of things, but hopefully it shines a light on situations as well. And I think it just closes that chapter slightly because I'm not going to provide health updates on every area of my life and every time something happens. I just felt because I've spoke quite openly about it up to now throughout my content, I think it's just really important that I address it now just to say this is what the condition apparently is. And the fact that like I said, it can potentially be I was told before by the other a previous physio that once you have an issue with your back, like you'll never ever be every time you have a problem with your back, it weakens. So even if you manage to heal it, strengthen it, it can never be as strong as it was before. So every time you have an injury to your back, you weaken it and weaken it and weaken it. And it's like so literally your back's at 100% earlier on in life, and at the top now you can never be 100%. For instance, you can only ever max out at 80, and it's going to keep dropping because if you keep pushing it. So that's why it's really important that we look after our health. So even if your back, like my back, for instance, even if my back can get strong enough to be able to do things again, it's really important that I take the right decisions so I don't keep injuring it. So like you want to be strong enough where you can just do everything around your own home. Do if you ever have a situation where you need to help someone with something, but you're not doing it every day and pushing it all the time. But if you put yourself in an environment that does, you're going to keep relapsing. That's really where the problem is. But again, it's manageable if I make the right decisions. And again, if I do the exercises that I've been given, of course I'm going to. It's not overly complicated. It's just last time I had physio, for instance, I didn't have a sheet. Like I forgot half the things I was supposed to do. For instance, this one here is, I'm just trying to make sure there's no personal information on it because obviously we don't want personal information. Um, I don't know. It's got a little link on that one. We'll leave that one just because there's a little link there. I don't want any weird shit. But anyway, we've got another sheet here. I'll show you a little bit. That's one. There is another. There is another one here where I was told you put your arms forward. Oh, it is that one. Okay, that one there is the main one. So you lay on the bed. So you don't have to lay on the floor. You don't have to do it on the floor. You just go on your knees there. Is that one on your knees? No, you can do it laying down as well. So there's one where you lay down. You literally you're just trying to activate the muscles along that side. And apparently by doing things with your neck and stuff like that, it tightens it and it can help with those. But anyway, yes, I've been given little routines to do. They're not overly complicated. You only have to do so many. I think they say, like the first one, so it says, this might help people, That's why I share. I did take a photo as well in the waiting room because I thought that's going to help. I didn't know I was going to get these sheets. So it says crawling position, for instance, hollow your back, keep your neck long and elbow straight, repeat 8 times and 2 sets. So do it 8 times, stop, and then do it again. And then that's your exercise done. But I think if you do this continually, so what she said was pick 1 or 2 that you can get comfortable with. You don't have to do all of them all the time. You just pick the ones you're comfortable with doing, and it'll help. Then you've got this one here where you lie on your back with your knees together and bent. Slowly roll your knees from side to side. You don't have to hold it there, she said, because I was saying, do I have to hold it? She said, no, you just got to keep moving him. But you can later on if you get more comfortable with it. I don't know. But anyway, repeat 8 times. Everything she's put is repeat 8 times in 2 sets. Another one's bring your knee up. So lay down and bring your knee up to your chest. And like I said to her, I said, weird. It said when I did the left one, because it's the thing, I'm not here to sort of sugarcoat. They know. So I was honest. So when I did the knee up to my chest, for instance, the left knee, which is the left side of my back, of course, but that pulled, so my back hurt. Then I did them both together, and it didn't hurt so much. So it's almost like it was alleviating the tension somehow. And that's kind of what she said. So effectively, by activating one, it's creating more. I don't know what the hell it's doing, but it's pressure points and shit. Anyway, yeah. So I've got some tasks to do, and that's 6 weeks of 6 weeks of exercise. Let's see where we're at to. Because, like I said, I can cope with pain. I've got a decent pain threshold because I'm suboptimal. I'm like, if anyone knows any of my journey, you'll sort of know that I just want to get everywhere fast. I don't like waiting around. I don't like messing about. Life's too short. Some people think it's too long. I think it's far too short. It's too much to do. So if it means pain to gain, then I'll take the pain. I would rather just walk through the fire. I'd rather just go through the pain. So, like, for instance, if someone was to say, oh, we can help you heal. It might take you 2 years, but, we'll try and do it as delicate as we can, and we'll try and we'll do a plan in place. It won't hurt. A lot of people just go, oh, yeah, that's the one I want. If someone says, oh, it's going to hurt like crazy, but in like 3 months, we'll get you back to normal. But you're going to go through some stuff, and you're going to go through days when it's going to hurt like crazy. I'm taking that path. Let's get it done in 3 months. Let's not waste 2 years of this shit. Let's get it done now. That's what I'm like. So, again, I'm not here to appease people, and that's the thing that annoys me a little bit when you're healing. It's like if you can do something, then it's perceived that you're okay. Like I lifted something at home. I kept my back as straight as possible. I had to, and I managed to lift it. And I was surprised, but I thought about it after. I thought, how did you manage to do that? And I thought, oh, because it was your arms are strong enough. I can lift shit with my arms. It's my back. So yeah, it depends on the object and it depends on the motion I've got to do. Just to put it into perspective, again, I'm not here to convince anyone of anything. It's like if I have to do the lawn mowing. I don't know why it is this way, and at the moment it hurts. And I'm hoping one day I can do it without problems. That'd be really nice. Then I know that's almost like an activity that will show me my back's healed. It's the perfect activity. I don't have a very big garden, but like if I do half the lawn or whatever, usually my back is hurting like shit, and I'm only just pushing a lawnmower back and forward. Maybe picking up the grass and putting it in the thing. But it'd be like my back. It's almost like your back's on fire. It's throbbing. It's hurting like shit. You've got to get it done. But then after that, I'm going to be like, even laying on the bed is going to hurt. That's the level of my back. So if I can get to the point where I can actively do that entire process, front and back garden, and you're not throbbing, then I know, yeah, we're getting there. We're done. We're getting there, because that's gonna be the one thing that I can test myself, because it's endurance a little bit there. But it's nice to know that I think there's not every condition is permanent. Not every condition is almost like a crisis. But I also think it's just to raise awareness for it, because there's a culture at the moment where people just want to be ill. Like, I've got family members who have conditions. Some exaggerated it earlier on. It's almost like they brought upon karma on themselves. Not saying that's the case, but it's almost like they have, because they were milking the shit out of it. They were lying to get benefits. And like recently I had an assessment. I said, I don't lie, so I'm not interested in saying anything that didn't happen, because I communicate well and I can articulate. People tend to just hold me to a high standard, and then I just get judged unfairly. My back hurts, but I can do some activities. If you ask me, can I walk around? I can walk, but I don't understand walking's got to do with lifting. It's when I lift is the problem, or certain movements will hurt. So yeah, but I was transparent throughout all that. But I'd have family members who would just milk the living shit out of everything, walk in with a walking stick. I need this support, even if they didn't, and that's what a lot of people do. That's just an example of the culture, But now they've actually got a serious condition where they literally, it's almost like karma. You wanted it, you got it. That's almost what that is. I know you crawl, but that's kind of what that's like. And you watch that and you think, that's not, we would want that for yourself. Like, I'm not saying they wish that for themselves now, but like, kind of like, that's that was what you was building towards. And I see other family members, for instance, like other health things, and it's like, you just look and think the quality of life is diminished. It's like they weren't doing much with their life anyway, if in all honesty, if you just be pragmatic and actually just watch people. You thought you had no ambition anyway. You've got the benefits you've wished for. You feel like you've won the lottery, but you're not even mobile and shit, or you can only do so much, and you've got like limited like breathing capacity and all these things. It's like, I don't understand that. That is not a life I want. Now, you can't help it in some instances, but I do think some people bring it upon themselves. It's like I said, if I can heal, you're damn right I want to heal. I don't want to be unhealthy. I don't want to have issues, man. So yeah, people might think, oh yeah, he's just saying it because it's not. I don't want arthritis. Because I have Raynaud's, though, because I have the Raynaud's syndrome, where it's the blood circulation, from when I did a little bit of research, it does say you're more susceptible to getting arthritis. So it's really important that I do, almost like Tin Man, keep oiling yourself, keep doing something, keep your body, because otherwise I may be at more of a risk of having that. So, I'm aware. So let's keep it going. So anyway, the other thing there, just to wrap up, again, hopefully it helps people by raising awareness. One of the suggestions was take multivitamins. I said my diet ain't the best, to be totally honest. It's something I do want to work on. But yeah, the multivitamins, at least it covers some of the deficiencies if there are any. So that will help, of course. And I say we'll just see. Obviously, I need to drink more water. I mean, I've got a Coke now. Look, for God's sake, I don't go mental. I only have. I've calmed down a lot. I'll just say there, when you change your lifestyle, like for most part, I think it has to be gradual. If you do an abrupt lifestyle change, you will inevitably have relapses, because it's too abrupt and it's too huge. You will naturally have almost like an addiction to something. So if you throw yourself off it, you will go heavily back into it. So if you say, I'm going to go on a diet, I'm not having any of this, but you do it so aggressively, there'll be a moment when you just binge the shit. You'll just order all the chocolate you can, all the crisps, all the fizzy drink, everything, and you'll go mental for it. You go like ravenous. So you have to do things in stages to heal. So like, for instance, you might see I've got a can of Coke here now. But what I actually do to myself now, I buy cans on purpose. I've done that for quite a while now. It can work out a little bit more expensive, but it's manageable. If I did a glass, I would fill up part of the pint glass up. And then if it's halfway full and I was in the area or something, I'd probably top it up. So effectively, you're consuming more than you probably realise you're doing. There's no accountability. Whereas I think with a can there is. I'm cold it up so we can see. I'm going to say can. We've all got seen cans. But I now, and I used to drink a lot. Like I don't drink out. I'm not really an alcohol drinker or any of that shit. Again, if you're at a function, that's different. But I don't go out my way to drink alcohol. I like hot drinks, but I can only drink so much. And I like a lot of people, I try to avoid water. But my daughter she only drinks water. So it's crazy. But you look at her and think, God damn, you're doing well for yourself. She doesn't have any teeth problems, anything, because the water just removes everything. Anyway, so what I do with the can, I only now, and it's been going on for quite a while. So this isn't something where I'm going to have a relapse anytime soon. That's not the case. I am accountable in my life now. I used to buy loads of chocolate bars. My cupboard would just be full of chocolate bars, sweets, and all sorts of shit. I kid you not. Donuts. I love all that. That's my happy place. I have a very big sweet tooth. But recently, I'm not saying I won't have any more chocolate, but I'm very accountable. Like if I have a chocolate bar, I'll only have one that day for the most part. And I don't have it every day. I haven't even got any at the minute. But if I do, and now I'm aware of like diabetes and shit because like family members have got it, and I'm like, okay, there's an awareness. But before that, I was taking the sodas, the fizzy drink serious. So I will only have, if I have this, I won't have another fizzy drink today. It would, it's a bit different. If you had a takeaway and I had a McDonald's, for instance, I tend to have milkshakes. I like chocolate milkshakes. But in that situation, maybe there's an exception because it comes with the meal. So it's not all the time. And I'm getting a bit bored of takeaways myself personally. But anyway, I will only, if I have a can, it's only one that day. So I pick the time I'm going to have it. If I really fancy one, I'm like, well, you can have it now, you can have it later. But it's like no one's bullying me to be like that. But it's like I'm having awareness of my health. If I take, it's not about removing it entirely. But if I know the consumption I had before, and I know this is a huge deal. I could have gone through 4 or 5 cans a day. Literally just go and get one. And if I'm thirsty again, we have another one. It'd just be flowing out the freaking cupboard, out the fridge, constantly. Just going, drink. Might mix out with Dr. Pepper and a Fanta as well. Like just round, Now it's one can. And then I'll have my like coffee or I'll have tea around the can. And then at some point I might go, you know what, I do need a bottle of water. And I'll just go for a bottle. I've got one here. Yeah. This one's a bit warm, so I had it from the night time. I never drank it in the end. But anyway, I've got a few of these in the fridge. There's an awareness that sometimes, you know what, even if you don't want to drink it, it serves a purpose. Of course, it's water, for God's sake. It's hydration. So if I think I need it, I'm thinking you just need water. Even if I don't want to, I'll just drink the bottle. And I know I've had my water. It's a bit mad because some people just go mental for like health. It's like I personally look at where I've come from. I look at where I'm going, and I can see the progress, and I'm happy with that. Look, anyone can understand water is going to be better than a soda like a cola or whatever the hell you got, fizzy drink. But it's getting there. Before I had like 4 or 5 of these things, and I didn't. That wasn't even anywhere in sight. Now we down to 1 a day, and we will have this occasionally around the hot beverages. And then eventually maybe we go every other day with a soda or something, Sometimes it is. I don't have them every day, like I'm thinking like religious. But I would say if you're going to say average, I'd say probably 1 a day because it's probably more likely I'll have one every day than skip a day. Well, yeah. So then, but eventually maybe we drink more waters. So anyway, again, hopefully me talking about that will raise awareness to other people's health. Like, because there's no point walking around going, I'm perfect. I only eat salads. It's like, we'd love to be able to say that, but I'd be lying. That's just the thing, isn't it? I'd rather just be transparent. As long as I think personally, as long as we have growth in our life and we're going in the right direction and it's progress. So in a year's time, hopefully my back's better. Hopefully it doesn't take that long, but who knows? You don't know the process of healing. You can't just go, I've had a prognosis, I'll be all right tomorrow. That's not the case at all. It hurts. When I do certain activities, worse even then. When I wake up in the morning, it hurts. But let's get to the point where hopefully it's not because I have to take, it's like they can only give you the instructions and the advice and test you. They can't actually do the healing. You're going to have to heal. So, for instance, they could give me the task to do, and then I could like, depending on how we get it on in 6 weeks, that's what it was. It's open ended for 6 months. So if you need to make more appointments, you can. He said, like, maybe just get on with the exercises for 6 weeks, then come back if you feel you need more advice or we need to address anything. So anyway, let's do that because, like, I could do nothing for 6 weeks and then go, oh, my back's still in pain. And it's just messing everyone about because they can't do it for me. I have to have that ambition, that desire, the drive to heal. So I've been given the tools to try to do that. Let's put it in practice. It's 2 sessions a day of each, so like they said in 2 sets. And that's what I'll do. So it's a bit awkward at first because it's not natural, is it? But I think then you just get used to doing the tasks. Um, yeah. Oh, she said swimming as well is good, but I don't really. The way I haven't really been. I don't think I've even been swimming since I relocated. I relocated like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago. I don't know. 2020, but it was October. Um, and before that, I used to like going to this gym. There's a gym I really liked in my hometown. Like I loved that gym, and it had a swimming pool built in to the gym, so it's part of your membership. And I just enjoyed going there. I haven't really had that feeling where I live now, so it's a bit annoying because I do like swimming, just being in the water really. But I think it's that water resistance that's good, isn't it? Because I don't think you notice issues when you're in that situation. Anyway, I only want to mention that because it might help other people if they're going through similar ailments. Yeah, I know it's a bit of a wordy, random video, and I don't suppose anyone even watches to the end. And I think to myself, I could have just stopped. But then I think if only one person watches to the end and it helps them, then it was worth me taking the time to just explain anything and self-reflect. But yeah, this is where I'm up to in my healing journey, and I hope, like I said, hopefully in a year's time we're not even thinking about it anymore. And maybe in a year's time, we're not even drinking the sodas. I mean, I don't think, to be honest, I will go off sodas because I think it's the same way some people like a glass of wine. Some people like alcoholic drink. If I was given the choice, for instance, you're in a situation, they go, what do you want to drink? I'll have a Coke. You know, it seems boring, but I like Coke. So you can have someone going, oh, I really want like, whatever beer they like, and I want this cocktail, I want this water. It's like, if you've got a Coke with you, I'll have one. I'll have a Coke. I don't mind a beer, and I might still have one every now and again. But if you're asking me what I actually prefer, I'd just rather have a cold soda. Yeah, I love Dr Pepper, but you can only have so many of them because the taste sort of like loses its meaning. It's one of those weird tasting ones, but it's beautiful. But you have it too much, it becomes this amalgamation of flavors, doesn't it? It's like but Coke's good. Anyway, hopefully, this is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping people are seeing growth because I think that's just what we were aiming for: growth in our health, growth in our lifestyle, and growth in our careers and ambition. You know, even if you look at the books, for instance, started with one little book, now there's 6, and soon there'll be 7. Started with one video on my YouTube channel. It looked pathetic when you start, and everyone's going to go through that. You've got with someone else's channel, they've got hundreds of videos, multiple playlists, they're all full. It's intimidating. Forget the followers. It's intimidating when you've got an empty profile and maybe you start making content, you've got one video. But like anything, but the more we establish ourselves, the more it grows and builds and it blossoms, doesn't it? It blooms. So one book, like I said, becomes 7. One video becomes 500 videos. And it's the same with our health, you know. One day of sort of like working on our healing journey, over time, you're incredibly fit and healthy, you know. And I think that's what it's all about. So one step at a time. I always said that. I just want to know if the condition is like a deeper issue that you could do long term damage if you push something, or if it's muscular, can we just like fix it, you know? And then I don't mind pushing myself then, and it's leaning towards that, so that's good. Anyway, I don't want to go on any longer. I don't want to waste people's time. Hopefully that's been a bit educational, sort of.